afternoon, and hopefully you noticed that I am wearing this breather. I'm going to be sanding a little bit without it, but I think I'll be okay because I'm not making huge changes in the ball. I'm simply using the sandpaper as a little detailer of this section, the tips. I am not going to be sick anymore. It's been 3 weeks. I just do not accept it, and so I'm going to have a positive mental attitude, get a spring in my step, and just say, I'm going to start feeling better. That's enough. So today, on this brilliant, sunny, beautiful Michigan day, it's still a little nippy, so I'm putting my gloves on every so often. I work barehanded. So I started out with my stave bow, period, this morning, and now I'm working on my board bow, and then I'll take a little break and then go on to pounding some sinew and get ready to make our sinew back a bow. So you've caught me in the midst of working on a Mollegabet, and this is a nice bow for this discussion because I've had a lot of interest, a lot of questions, emailing back and forth as far as technical advice, other people making the Mollegabet style, not reproduction, but a style. Bendy portion in here. Needle-shaped tips that aren't supposed to bend, just owing to increased thickness right here. Now this is a stylized bow. If I actually wanted to, I could probably make it more efficient by bringing the tips in a little bit. So it's more like a 60-40. This again is just more for style. I believe I get some benefit from it, but it's a matter of sculpture to me. And this is one reason why I like to mix up styles between stave-made bows and board-made bows. With stave-made bows, the stave will determine to a great degree the final look of the bow. What I like about that is you're using the artistry of the wood itself to bring out the artistry of the bow. I don't really feel comfortable using this term, but I shall. With board bows, I can impose my will upon that bow because in general terms, usually, a lot of the time, they'll be biased ring, which means the grain is running at an angle. I prefer a little towards the flat sawn side. Let's picture this: quarter sawn, flat sawn, rift sawn. And so what's between 90 degrees and 0 degrees? 45. I actually prefer a little less than that. My perfect rift sawn board would be about 30 degrees. Various factors for that. One is that as you increase it towards quarter sawn, there's less area between the growth rings. And so I believe there's just simply less bonding between the growth rings. As you're going lower in elevation, there's a greater area between the growth rings, so there's a greater bonding between the growth rings. This is like weird science here, so feel free to correct me. I will not take it personally. I also like the fact that as you're going this way, lowering that angle, there's less risk of splitting or issues with run out. If you have changes, great changes, severe changes in width. So it's just my personal preference. I like to have it a little on the flat sawn. Now this bow is made from a board that is flat sawn. If you were to look at those edge rings. Can you see them? I'm just kidding. The growth rings are level. There actually are very, wow. Look at that, sports fans. I only see one runoff, and it goes like this. It's at an angle, a great angle. So conceivably, because this is a board, that perfect board, a close to that perfect board, that mimics a growth ring bow, I wouldn't need to back it. However, I love rawhide backing. I like rawhide backing. It can make the bow bulletproof. Rawhide backing does not present you with the same structural and, say, tensional benefits of sinew backing. Sinew can give you a great amount of tensional energy storage, even reflex the bow. But they both do the same thing. Both rawhide backing and sinew backing will keep those little bits of wood from like popping up, or keep the back of the bow from exploding while I use it. And so on this, which I'm not pushing any limits, Shelton's bow, I'm going between 45 and 50 pounds, 66 inches tip to tip, 66 inches tip to tip, and 44 knock to knock. I want to have some big tips. No, it's 64 inches knock to knock. I am not pushing any limits here for a 28-inch draw, and so by rawhide backing it, I'm basically making it bulletproof. No issues. And plus, when I rawhide back bows finishing, people ask me about finishing, I shall tell them that on something like this with the rawhide back, after I paint it, I will use Helmsman spar urethane, a couple coats of that. It'll seal the edge of the rawhide, it'll waterproof it, and it'll also add great beauty to the wood itself. So it's nice stuff. Not primitive by any means. Technically speaking, this will not be a primitive bow. It'll be on the traditional side, but it'll be a fun bow, a very nice bow. It would look good hanging on your wall, or else dusting that deer or turkey. I better not say that too loud because they're watching me. It'll be a nice bow. Now, getting back to imposing my will upon this piece of wood. I like details. One reason, I'm a sculptor in wood. I'm a sculptor in wooden bows here. And so board bows affords me the opportunity to express myself as a sculptor. And it also kind of reminds me of furniture. Now, let me just demonstrate the tips here. This is really hard to see, and I apologize because it is like a simple camera phone. Should I do this now or later? I can do it from here. On the tips, which are thickened and then gradually decrease in thickness towards the tips, because if it's a matter of leverage, I like to add a channel in here. There's a rounded channel. I'm working on it. It's not finished, but I can get away with making a channel down the center and then dipping down here, and it kind of reminds me of a deer foot. I don't know why. It doesn't look like a deer foot. Deer don't walk around in these, but it kind of reminds me of a deer foot, and it is a very pleasing detail. On the edges of the belly portion of these tips, in order to make those precisely, because board bows are precise, whereas say stave-made bows follow what the wood wants you to do, more or less. I can take this template and just put it down here and trace it along so I can get a nice line. I can do it by eye, but I just put those pencil lines on there. And then I shall take a simple wooden sanding block and bevel it. Again, nice details. I actually do this while it's clamped down. Then I follow that up with, this is just an empty roll of B50. Makes a beautiful round sanding block, and I shall clamp this into here and take a piece of sandpaper. Not once do my hands leave my wrists. And then I can put that rounded channel in here. And once I get this on here and do my finishing sanding, it's a really beautiful tip. Now on the handle, because it's a board bow, and you can do this on stave bows too if you were making a stave bow molly, do develop a pleasing face. Certainly you can make a bow that's made from a split sapling, and it's just kind of simple, beautiful in its own way, and it works. The best bow is a bow that works. It's fun to, say, work with proportions and distances and lengths and widths, blah, blah, blah. And in this case, I made it so it's concave, convex. I get those two mixed up. It rounds out here, and then it rounds out here. Now this doesn't bend right through here, through the fades. And so I have been toying with the notion of changing this from a convex surface, convex surface, rounding out, to taking it and doing it into a concave surface. And, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think I might. I think I might. I think that would be nice. That would be a simple case of, I wouldn't use this form, I'd use a bigger one, just do this and then re-round it here and there. And that's about it. Oh, one last detail, something to think about when you're making your board bows. You have the fades, the heel, whatever you want to call them. Now, what I've done, and this can be kind of a tricky thing, is draw a line. Just take a pencil and just shoot up the heel of that. And it is a really nice feature, a really nice detail to sand them, kind of bevel it into there, and have a distinct line, a distinct peak right here. Kind of a double scoop. That's a nice detail too. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Notice I didn't mention anything about a certain planet being either spherical or flat. Done with that nonsense. Back to bows. Back to feeling good. I am not going to feel sick anymore. Nope. Have a great day and thank you for watching. And wear your dust masks when you sand. God, even my mouth is getting too cold to work here. Appreciate your viewership. Have a great day.